everyone, and welcome to another episode of Club Corner. I'm your host, Sophia Smith, and today we're thrilled to have Kiara Green, the event coordinator for the Fisher Feminist Alliance, with us. Kiara, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So, to get to know you a little better, why don't you tell us your name, major, and a bit about your role as the event coordinator for Fisher Feminist Alliance?
My name is Kiara Green. I'm a sophomore here at Fisher. I'm majoring in political science and legal studies. As event coordinator for FFA, my main role is just to communicate with the rest of the e-board and plan events. And usually I request the room for the events, so whichever room you see or come to for the events, that's usually my role. I also coordinate with other clubs and try to get that moving. Like recently we did a collab with Art Club for our first event, and that was mostly through my initiative of communication and planning all that.
That's super cool. So what inspired you to become the event coordinator for this Fisher Feminist Alliance?
So my first year, a lot of times they say get involved. So I was a member in a lot of clubs, and towards the end of the year, a lot of positions started opening up for e-board, and I just decided to take a role in being in that leadership position, and it's worked out well for me so far. I really like my position and what I've been able to do on campus.
I'm really glad. That's so awesome. So could you share some key events or initiatives that you've been a part of with the Fisher Feminist Alliance?
So recently we've had 2 events so far. Our first was in September called Totes and Tunes, and our second one was last night called Breastfest. So our first one, we just listened to music. We painted totes, we painted records and coasters with Art Club. While listening to music, we specifically listened to women music, like women genres. And for Breastfest last night, we talked about Breast Cancer Awareness Month and the signs to prevent or try to prevent breast cancer. And the signs for that. We also talked about an upcoming walk this Sunday for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And also we have an initiative we made is every Friday for Hispanic Heritage Month to acknowledge Hispanic women, and we call it Feminist Fridays.
I like that. So what do you feel is the most important theme that the Fisher Feminist Alliance is working to address on campus?
Mostly the intersectionality between feminism. Feminism means different things to different people, and just trying to acknowledge that while also representing everybody and not trying to deter people because of that.
Yeah. How do you choose the themes or topics that you'll focus on in each event?
Usually we'll look at the month and how relevant it is to our mission. So as stated before, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month and Hispanic Heritage Month, so we try to highlight those in our events and what we advertise on social media and throughout campus.
Yeah. So do you get any ideas from students on campus or other members of the club?
It's mostly, as of right now, members of the club, and usually they have ideas from classes or courses that relate to our club. But yeah, in the future we probably have student body or student members come to us with ideas that we can implement into our events.
That's cool. So what has been your most successful or favorite event that your Alliance has created so far?
Our most successful event so far is probably Vulva Night. It usually happens in November to talk about women's health or sexual, our bodies and stuff like that. My favorite event so far has to be Breastfest, just because of the awareness that it brings around towards Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And Totes and Tunes was a big success for us. Our first event, a lot of people showed up, which was really happy that made me happy, the e-board happy.
That's really great. I'm so glad. So how do you ensure that the programs and events hosted are accessible by everyone on campus?
I think it's mostly about choosing the right dates and usually picking them at a time where you think students will be on campus. Usually they're between 8 and 9 to accommodate for people that have late classes, as well as earlier in the week to accommodate people that would like to go home on Fridays. And so far that's been a repetitive thing for us, trying to keep them between Monday and Wednesday, 8 to 9.
Yeah, that's really thoughtful. So what's the best way for students to get involved with Fisher Feminist Alliance and join the club?
Good resources are Instagram and Cardinal Hub. Cardinal Hub, you can have access to all our events, and when there'll be a description of them or just around the bulletin boards and you see flyers, just reach out. There's always an email of somebody who you can contact.
That's great. So that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much, Kiara.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. It's been a pleasure, so having you on the show. We look forward to seeing what you and the Feminist Alliance has coming up in the future. And for all of our viewers, don't forget to check out their upcoming events.